1st. You guys know what day April 1st is? None other than April Fool's Day. Just like when they showed us the first television picture from space on, what date? April 1st.
Co za przypadek?
A kto powiedział, że to był przypadek?
They're lying to you, okay? Wake up. You guys gotta stop believing this garbage.
On April Fool's Day, NASA officially launched their Artemis-2 rocket, claiming to take humans back to the moon in 2026. Going back to the moon, however, would require us having actually gone there before, which myself and many other researchers have debunked beyond any shadow of a doubt in several previous videos, showing that the original NASA moon landings were faked in a studio on Earth. So now, over 50 years later, with half a century of technological developments, Artemis-2 isn't even claiming to land on the moon like Apollo, but merely flying by. So what proof are we being given that NASA is really sending people in orbit around the moon? As usual, we are shown a rocket launch from Kennedy Space Center in Florida, which performs the same parabolic arc that every rocket, missile, and other projectile shot into the sky does. Rather than shooting straight upwards towards the moon, which would be far more logical and look much more convincing, every rocket launch arcs from vertical to horizontal, and most you can even see beginning to arc back down to Earth before leaving view. NASA's excuse for this is that they are purposely doing this parabolic arc with all their rockets because of a super high-tech gamer gravity hack where the rockets are being caught in a gravity well that works like a slingshot to help propel them better to the moon. Yes, you heard right. The reason all these NASA rockets form a parabolic arc and look like they're about to drop into the ocean a few miles away is because going down is the best way to go up. So, all the NASA nerds will look down their bifocals at you, smugly explaining what their overlords told them about gravity and slingshots, while they watch rocket after rocket launched eastwards from Fort Lauderdale, making parabolic arcs directly towards the Bermuda Triangle. Watch closely as the rocket goes from vertical to horizontal and out over the ocean, away from all observers' views. In one instant, it just disappears from view completely. Where has it gone? It goes from being clearly visible to there just being nothing discernible whatsoever, like it just vanished into thin air. Strangely enough, that's the second time a flying object just vanished into thin air that day. Watch this footage from just before the Artemis-2 was preparing to launch, and pay close attention to the airplane that flies into view from the right-hand side of the screen. Where did it go? The plane just completely vanishes from view, as if it disappeared behind a giant green screen. Watch it again in slow motion. Another oddity is the following footage showing these cable cars lowering from the rockets during launch. These are known as the emergency escape cable cars, allegedly used to get the astronauts out in the case of an emergency. They sure look like they're being used here at this last moment. How do we know that they're empty? The astronauts could easily have just hopped into those cable cars to be taken to the next studio where they sit in harnesses pretending to be in outer space.
There's nobody aboard inside the capsule. Never has been with all these past so-called space missions. Like I said, all these rockets just dump into the Bermuda Triangle off the coast of Florida. That very simple. And here's an image of the so-called emergency escape baskets for the astronauts. So this is nothing new. This is a newer version that's much larger, but in the past, you can see here, as they have the smaller ones, and people basically just didn't see them because they're so small. And now they have this for the Artemis-2. And again, it's much larger. That's why it's very visible. Once again, as you see here, as you see it going down the zip line. And the emergency baskets being implemented at Kennedy Space Center in Cape Canaveral, of course, 33 with the CC. And there you see it they're showing this demo how it would operate in emergency situations, supposedly.
Did you know that NASA is the world's largest purchaser of helium? Helium is a stable and very light element used for sending balloons up into high altitude. NASA admittedly uses large amounts of helium to send up its satelloons, but what about these rockets? Look at this image of the Artemis2 live on Fox News. What does that look like to you? Honestly looking, without bias, doesn't that look like a giant inflatable blow-up toy? Look at the seams and creases. Once the rocket is out of the public's view, after a couple minutes of genuine launch footage, true to form, NASA always switches to CGI. We can never get full, live, unedited video focused straight ahead of the rocket, or with a view focused on Earth. All we ever get is launch footage, cut to CGI like this for an hour, then whenever they're ready to restart the so-called live feed, here's what we get. Always a view with huge portions of the screen taken up by large random pieces of the craft. Then long blue screen outages lasting for minutes or sometimes hours, only to come back with another similar video of another large section of the craft in the foreground.
The crew of the Artemis2 has captured some incredible views of Earth.
They've used the very same clouds in both of these images. It's supposed to be Africa by day and night with exactly the same angle, so about 12 hours later, and the clouds haven't moved. Because these aren't actual photographs, they are computer-generated images, just like all the images of the globe. So either NBC made a mistake in their selection of the graphic artist, or it's entirely intentional, designed to test us, as it's clearly stated on this NASA reel. And why are they showing us Earth little by little? Why don't they film everything? Think about it for a couple of seconds. A skydiver comes back with hundreds of photos. GoPro mounted on the helmet, 360 camera in hand, 8K video, 120 frames per second. But when it comes to Artemis, we're back in the 70s with blurry, jerky footage, 4 frames per second. As if NASA didn't have the budget for a $400 GoPro, they lost the technology and never found it again.
Problem is we don't have the technology to do that anymore.
You serious?
Let me show you the propaganda, because I searched on YouTube, Artemis2 images. Ready? Watch this. It's all the same image. Ready? Same images. Ready? Same one. 21 hours ago. 7 hours ago. They're talking about the poop smell again there. First photos from Earth. Okay, that was 21 hours ago. 106 watching that one. Here we go. Same image. Same image. Same image. Same image. Where's all the amazing new pictures they took? It's all the same image. Where's any new photos? I haven't seen anything new. Oh, same image again. It's all nothing.
Now, what really confuses me is the aeroplanes, right? As you can see on this flight tracker right here, there is thousands upon thousands of aeroplanes flying, and you would think that you would be able to see them, even if they were just slight little dots. As you can see on the flight tracker, there is enough for it to be noticeable. But then also you've got like 10 to 11,000 active satellites that are orbiting the planet, and then like 30,000 orbital objects that are being tracked around the Earth. Yet when they take a photo and show you, this is the Earth, guys, none of that seems to be available for our eyes to see.
That's a funny way to put it.
Yeah.
I saw this being shared. I thought it was fake. I just ignored it, but now I found out it's real. It's on the NASA website. They said that they shared this photo of Earth from the Orion spacecraft's window. Well, instantly I could tell it was fake because I've been doing this a long time. And I made this graphic. I'm on Canva here. And as you can see, here's his image. I removed the background. And if you put it over an overlay of the continents on Earth, where are the other continents? There's no way all that could be on the other side. So I take this to scale. See, that's Africa. So I made it to scale, and I lined it up over Africa, and it's not perfect because it's on a ball graphic, and this is a flat graphic. But yeah, that's what it looks like. There's no way all of this and all of this is on the other side of this. So.
No i co uważasz? No, moim zdaniem, według mnie, kilka niedociągnięć jest.
Kilka niedociągnięć? A gdzie tu są dociągnięcia? To jest jakaś prowokacja.
Look at the supposed Earth in these videos. Why is it shaped like that? In every other image and video NASA releases of the Earth, it is perfectly circular. Why is it squished here? How can the Earth suddenly change shape this drastically? They always claim Earth is an oblate spheroid, but this is one of the only times I have ever seen NASA showing Earth actually looking that way. NASA has already started releasing new Earth images supposedly taken from Artemis2, and they are just as dubious as ever. Again, they are showing us Earth as a crisp, perfect circle/sphere in these images, yet just moments earlier in their live stream, they were showing video of a clearly smushed Earth, looking nothing like the pictures released shortly after. And what about the lighting? NASA says Earth is fully eclipsing the sun in this picture, putting all of the light of the sun on the other side of the globe. So how is the entire dark side of the Earth shown fully and brightly lit? Or how about this one, allegedly showing the moon from Artemis2? Why is the moon much smaller here in outer space than it is on Earth? I have never seen the moon that small, and yet NASA claims this picture was taken by the Artemis crew halfway from Earth to the moon. The reality is, these are not real photographs. In fact, you can take these new images just released from NASA and run them through an advanced AI filter to check for authenticity and see for yourself. These images do not even pass AI scans for authenticity and are all coming back as confirmed CGI images. People honestly should be able to discern for themselves that these Earth images are clearly CGI, but if you don't trust your own discernment, even AI is telling you that these are not real. From ChatGPT, quote, "This is very likely AI generated or heavily composited. The window frame is unusually thick and irregular, with soft, almost melted looking edges. Real spacecraft windows would be more engineered and consistent. The satellite outside is oddly placed and slightly stylized. Scale and lighting don't quite match orbital photography. The lighting on Earth in the interior frame feels cinematic rather than physically consistent, especially the glow and reflections. The composition is too clean and centered for typical handheld astronaut photography. Also, look at the bright hot spot of sunlight shining at one specific point of Earth. If the sun's light is transferring through 93 million miles of space to reach the Earth, shouldn't it be lit uniformly if that was the case? Why would there be a single bright spot as if being lit locally?